Good morning. I'm Will Roulette with the Fire Museum of Maryland, and this morning we're going to bring story time to you while we're all stuck inside. I'm going to read you Molly by Golly, the legend of Molly Williams, America's first female firefighter. And I think you'll like this story because it's about a whole community coming together in a time of crisis, which we can all relate to. Molly by Golly is by Diane Ochiltree and illustrated by Kathleen Kemley. I'd also like to thank Boyd's, Mills, and Kane Publishing for allowing us to read the book. So, we have Molly by Golly. The book is dedicated for the strong, brave women in my life by Diane Ochiltree, and for Lisa T. by the illustrator. Our Molly is as fine a cook as any in New York City, the lads of Fire Company Number 11 like to boast. In fact, she's wondrous fine. Molly's hasty pudding is tastiest, the captain always said. No, sir, Isaac would declare, it's her chicken roly-poly makes a man's mouth water. Hot apple tansy is Molly's most delicious dish, Jonas was sure to insist. The argument would go around the Fire Company table until the very last bite of venison stew or codfish muddle had disappeared. But on one thing the men agreed. Molly, by golly, put hands and heart into every task in or out of the kitchen. One wintry day, she proved just how wondrous fine she could be. Inside the cozy kitchen of Mr. Amar's house, Molly Williams briskly whisked cornmeal, eggs, and buttermilk in an earthenware bowl. Outside, snowflakes swirled, thick as cream. Snowdrifts stood as tall as haystacks. Molly stirred glowing embers in the hearth oven and worried. As the Johnny cakes baked, a fierce wind knocked at the door and whistled through chinks in the red-bricked walls. Molly worried more. Snow covered the neighborhood that morning, and a terrible sickness had spread like a thick blanket over scores of households. Influenza. Many of the volunteer firefighters were already sick. Even Mr. Amar lay abed with it. Molly scratched the upturned chin of Eliza, one of her many household cats, and wondered aloud, if a blaze sparks in a blizzard such as this, what will our poor fire lads do? Molly recognized the sound growing louder above the whine of the snowstorm. Had her worry about the fire come true? Church bells clang, clang, clanged. They sang out a fire alarm. The number of times they chimed told Molly just where the trouble was. Something's afire, Eliza, and it's nearby, she exclaimed. Molly wrapped a heavy woolen shawl around her shoulders and dashed out to spread the news. Molly spied a small knot of neighborhood boys speeding towards her with lanterns held high. Runners! Molly, by golly, led them through the snow-filled alleys and icy cobblestone streets. The runners rattled clackers and rang muffin bells. Fire! They all cried. Come out, come out! Men burst from their homes with bootstraps flapping and coattails flying. Women and children tossed out leather water buckets. Molly and the runners scooped them up as they raced to the fire company's equipment shed. Volunteers busily loaded axes, pull-down hooks, and coils of rope into the fire wagon. Molly took a quick count. She'd never seen so few men answer the call. The captain lifted the buckets from her aching arms. "Molly, by golly," he said, "you're always ready to lend a hand." These hands can do much more than bake Johnny cakes, she thought. She clapped on a weathered leather helmet, strapped spattered ashes over her woolen leggings, and pulled on heavy work gloves. "Wait for me," she cried. "Molly, by golly," exclaimed the surprised captain. He waved her over to the line of men struggling to drag the heavy pumper engine into the snowy street. Molly took her place on the rope and gripped it hard. "All heave-ho, lads and lady," the captain ordered. "Get this pumper on its way. 1, 2, 3, pull!" they chanted. Molly and the men rolled the pumper engine straight away into the street. They dragged it through the swiftly drifting snow. Wintry wind whipped at Molly's face and hands, but she never lost her grip. Soon Molly saw ribbons of soot twirling between snowflakes. She heard frightened voices floating through the frozen air. Then there it was, a small wooden house ablaze.
"Step lively now!"
cried the captain through his tin speaker's trumpet. "Fire wagon and pumper to the side yard. Volunteers and buckets to the river." Close to the snowy bank, the captain chopped holes in the thick ice. Jonas and Isaac dropped buckets into the frigid water flowing below. Molly and the others formed a bucket brigade, passing water hand to hand, filling the tank fast. "Start pumping and be quick about it," the captain shouted. Molly jumped to join the men at the pumper engine's sides. They cranked the heavy, long pump handles until the water gushed in a steady stream from the fire hose. Hour after hour, Molly sprayed burning timber. Angry flames hissed and spit each time water hit them. Molly pulled down chunks of burning roof with the hooked iron rod. Flaming shingles melted the snow the moment they hit the ground. Choking smoke crept into Molly's nose. Cinders clung to her woolen shawl. A wall of heat warmed her cheeks. "My fire lads won't let this fire win, and neither will I," she thought. The fire raged and roared with the fury of a wild bobcat until at last it was out. The Van Horn family shivered in their snowy yard. A haze of smoke surrounded them. They were thankful to be alive, glad the fire had not spread throughout the neighborhood. Bone-tired, Molly took her place on the drag rope to pull the pumper back to the shed. Jonas, Isaac, and the other volunteers rushed to her side, broad smiles on their soot-covered faces. "Hooray for our new company volunteer," they cheered. "Molly, by golly, you're wondrous. You're as fine a fire lad as any," added the captain. "In fact, you're wondrous fine." The end. We'll be doing another story time next Friday at 11 in the morning. You can check out our Facebook. And while you're all stuck at home, we've put some things on our website that you can check out. A fun science activity you can do at home on the website under Education on the Chemistry Lab at Home page. Thanks. Bye.